Hello, folks. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Daily AI Pod by Zebratruth. I'm your host, Thomas Smith, and today we're unpacking a major story that is shaking up the fast-moving AI world. Today, we're dissecting America's AI Action Plan, recently released by the White House. America's AI Action Plan is a sweeping 2025 White House strategy to secure U.S. global dominance in AI. The plan champions rapid innovation, deregulation, robust infrastructure, open source AI, and workforce empowerment, while emphasizing national security, free speech, and countering foreign influence. It balances acceleration with risk management in a race to shape the future. We're joined today by our expert Elizabeth. Elizabeth, welcome to the show. And let's dive right in, shall we? What's the core message the plan is sending about this global AI race?
Thanks for having me, Thomas. It is always a pleasure. The plan's core message is urgency. The U.S. treats AI dominance as a national security imperative, likening this to the space race. Whoever wins sets global standards and reaps economic and military rewards. It's not just about technology, but about shaping the future world order.
That's a high-stakes analogy. Trump's statement calls for unquestioned and unchallenged technological dominance. Does the plan see this as a zero-sum contest with other nations?
Absolutely. The language is stark. America and its allies must win. The plan says the largest AI ecosystem will dictate the rules, so it's not just competition, but a quest for supremacy. It's setting the bar for a new era, calling it a potential golden age.
So, the stakes are existential, either lead or risk falling behind. Let's dig into what this golden age really means for Americans. The plan paints a sweeping vision: industrial revolution, new information paradigms, even an intellectual renaissance. Dr. Reed, how does it say AI will change our lives and work?
Its ambitious AI is cast as the engine for breakthroughs in materials, pharmaceuticals, energy, and manufacturing. Beyond industry, it promises radical shifts in education, communication, and even the arts. Think new drugs, smarter grids, decoding ancient text. AI as both tool and muse.
That's both futuristic and pragmatic. Does it mention who benefits most, or how these revolutions trickle down to everyday Americans?
The plan claims benefits will be widespread high-paying jobs, better living standards, and new intellectual frontiers. But, as we'll discuss, ensuring equitable benefit is one of its key challenges.
So, a promise of prosperity, but also a big question mark about distribution. Next, let's break down the plan's 3 guiding principles. Before diving into the 3 main pillars, the White House lays out foundational principles. Elizabeth, what threads tie the strategy together?
First, American workers are front and center. The plan insists AI should complement human work, not replace it. Second, AI systems must be trustworthy, free from ideological bias, striving for objective truth. Third, relentless vigilance, guarding against misuse, theft, and emerging risks.
It's a balancing act: foster innovation, but protect jobs, encourage openness, but ensure security. How realistic is it to deliver on all 3 fronts?
That's the million-dollar question. The plan's ambition is huge, but trade-offs are inevitable. Each pillar tries to walk the tightrope between speed and caution.
Let's see how that balancing act plays out in the first pillar: accelerating AI innovation. Let's talk about the first bold move announced with this AI strategy to cut red tape and rescind Biden's AI executive order. What's the logic behind deregulating so aggressively?
The plan sees regulation as the enemy of speed. It argues that burdensome rules stifle private sector innovation, favoring incumbents and slowing newcomers. The goal is to let American innovators move fast, break things ideally, not the wrong things.
Speed is great, but what about the risk of unintended consequences? How does the plan address that tension?
It acknowledges risks, but frames them as manageable with secure-by-design systems and vigilant monitoring. The plan paints regulation as mostly harmful, but proposes later-stage guardrails, which could be tricky if the barn door's already open.
So, it's a calculated gamble, bet on innovation, patch holes as they appear. Let's move to a more controversial area: free speech and AI values. All right, thank you. Another important pillar of the AI plan announced by Trump's administration is a call for AI that's objective and free from top-down ideological bias, even revising federal procurement and risk management frameworks. What are the benefits of this approach?
The idea is to protect free expression. AI should reflect truth, not push a social agenda. By stripping out references to misinformation or DEI, the plan aims to avoid what it sees as political or cultural bias, especially from foreign adversaries.
Sounds noble, but isn't objective truth a moving target? How do they plan to define or enforce this kind of neutrality?
That's the catch. Objectivity is subjective. What's biased to one group is truth to another. Operationalizing this could mean tough calls and controversy, especially if it chills legitimate debate or sidelines certain perspectives.
So, the challenge is drawing the line between neutrality and censorship. Next up, open source AI. There is a big play for open source and open weight AI. Why is open access seen as so crucial?
Open models fuel innovation. They let startups and researchers experiment freely, avoiding vendor lock-in. Plus, open source can define global standards, letting American values embed themselves into the next wave of worldwide AI tools. There's a geopolitical edge here.
But open source also means anyone, including adversaries, could use these models. Does the plan address the risk of misuse?
Indirectly, the focus is on innovation benefits, but the plan does stress the need for security, like secure by design AI and monitoring. It's a classic double-edged sword. More openness creates more opportunity and more vulnerability.
So, open source is a tool for both progress and soft power, but it's not without hazards. Let's talk about workers next. The plan touts a worker-first AI agenda. How does it propose to help American workers, given fears about job loss or displacement?
It's multi-pronged. AI skills become a focus in education, from K-12 to apprenticeships. The plan encourages tax-free reimbursement for AI training, launches a national AI workforce hub, and funds rapid retraining for displaced workers. Plus, it studies AI's real labor impact with BLS and census data.
Are there specific industries or groups the plan thinks are most at risk, or most likely to benefit from these efforts?
Manufacturing, logistics, and even healthcare are in the crosshairs. The plan is optimistic AI will complement, not replace workers, but it's ready to intervene if reality proves harsher than predictions.
So, it's a safety net with an upskilling ladder. Shifting gears, let's dig into the infrastructure needed to power all this AI. They explain that our permitting system makes it almost impossible to build new data centers or chip factories at the needed speed. What's the proposed fix, and what are the pros?
The answer: major regulatory streamlining. The plan wants new categorical exclusions for data centers under NEPA, fast-tracked approvals, and expanded use of federal lands. The benefit is speed, enabling the rapid build-out of critical digital and energy infrastructure for AI.
But if environmental reviews are bypassed, could we see negative impacts or local pushback?
Definitely a risk. The plan frames regulation as a bottleneck, but critics might call it necessary oversight. There's also an emphasis on keeping adversary tech out of infrastructure, so it's not just about speed, but about security too.
Balancing urgency with prudence, always the theme. Let's talk about the grid next. The AI boom means a hungry new customer for America's power grid, which the plan calls stagnant since the 1970s. How does it propose to modernize to meet AI's needs?
It's a three-phase approach. Stabilize today's grid, optimize existing transmission with smart tech, and prioritize new energy sources, think nuclear, geothermal, even fusion. The aim is to make the grid robust, flexible, and ready for energy-intensive data centers.
What's the biggest challenge in overhauling the grid on this scale?
Scale and complexity is one of the world's largest machines. Upgrades require coordination across utilities, regulators, and private sector actors. The plan admits this is a tall order, but frames it as a non-negotiable for AI leadership.
And a stronger grid benefits everyone, not just AI. Now, what about bringing chip manufacturing home? The plan demands a return of semiconductor manufacturing to U.S. soil, calling chips the foundation of modern tech. How does it propose to pull this off?
It's all about incentives and deregulation. The CHIPS Program Office will focus on ROI for taxpayers, cut extraneous policy strings, and streamline approvals. The goal: make chip-making fast, efficient, and immune to geopolitical shocks.
How does this tie into security?
Chips are a choke point. Control them, and you control a big part of the digital economy. By producing domestically, the U.S. reduces supply chain risks and foreign leverage, especially from rivals like China.
So, chips are both an economic and strategic asset. Let's zoom out to the international stage. All major countries are defining their AI strategy, and the US wants to export the full AI tech stack hardware, software, standard STO allies, forming a global AI alliance. What's the strategic logic here? It reminds me a bit the period in World War II, where the US were racing to create the atomic bomb and ensuring all talent were at Los Alamos.
It's about locking in influence. If allies use American AI, they're less likely to adopt rival tech, especially from China. The plan sets up coordinated export packages with security review baked in to make US AI the de facto standard worldwide.
And how does it address China's growing clout in global AI rulemaking?
By actively contesting standard-setting bodies like the UN and OECD, the U.S. pushes for innovation-friendly American value rules. The plan specifically targets efforts by Chinese firms to create surveillance-friendly standards.
A diplomatic chess game in silicon and code. Now, let's turn to security and risk management. Beyond exporting AI, the plan also focuses on keeping advanced compute and chip-making out of adversary hands. What new controls are proposed?
There's a push for creative enforcement using location verification on chips, expanding end-use monitoring, and plugging loopholes in subsystems not currently controlled. The goal: make it much harder for rivals to access state-of-the-art AI hardware.
Are there historical parallels to these kinds of tech export controls?
Absolutely. Think Cold War-era controls on supercomputers or encryption, but today's AI chips are ubiquitous and hard to track, so the plan's success will depend on global cooperation and rapid tech adaptation.
Let's wrap up with the plan's approach to emerging threats, especially biosecurity. The elephant in the room is that the administration recognizes AI's dark side: potential misuse in cyber attacks, bioengineering, or CBRNE weapons. How does it propose to get ahead of these threats?
Proactive evaluation is key. The government will partner with AI developers to assess security risks in frontier models, recruit top AI talent to federal agencies, and mandate sequence screening in federally funded bioresearch. There's a strong focus on sharing threat intelligence and updating risk protocols constantly.
So, the government wants to be the world's leading AI risk assessor. Does it mention coordination with international partners here?
Yes, B, sharing best practices and setting high bars for security. The U.S. hopes to lead by example. The plan acknowledges that the threats are global, so solutions must be, too.
With such sweeping ambitions, how does the plan balance speed with safety? Let's close with your big picture take. Elizabeth, what's your final assessment? Can America achieve unchallenged dominance while managing the risks of rapid AI advancement?
The plan's philosophy is clear: move fast, break barriers, and patch risks as they arise. It's bold, maybe even audacious. But history shows that breakthrough eras, from the Manhattan Project to the Internet, always demand new forms of oversight. The real test will be anticipating the unknowns before they become crises.
So, we're in a race with no finish line, just new challenges ahead. Elizabeth, thank you for unpacking this pivotal document for us.
Always a pleasure. These are conversations we need now more than ever.
And thanks to our listeners for joining us. Voila! Okay, on that positive note, that is a wrap for today then. Well, thanks to everyone for listening to the Daily AI Pod by Zebratruth. If you learned something today, or got a little fired up, share the episode, subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the bleeding edge of artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, you can also visit our website, www.zebratruth.com, and download our app to stay informed and stay connected.